I'm here to get the fight done, so we can fight.
Yeah, we're going to finalize it soon.
Where are we going to see you guys fight?
I hope it's here in South.
Manny Pacquiao has shocked the boxing world by eyeing Conor Benn as one of his next possible opponents, setting the stage for what could be one of the most unexpected matchups in recent memory.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is a legend of the game. You can't knock him for that. 8th Division World Champion, but it's my time.
Giving him a chance to have to experience like a good fight, and we glad to entertain people, to entertain the fans.
It's my time, and youth is one hell of a thing. Everyone wants to see this fight. We can make this fight. I'm ready.
Conor Benn's journey over the last few years has been anything but ordinary. The British star is on a mission to avenge his loss to Chris Eubank Jr., which took place earlier this year in April. Their first meeting came after 2 years of back-and-forth exchanges, family history, insults, and even an infamous egg-slap incident. It was more than just a boxing match, it was a clash of bloodlines, with both men carrying the weight of their father's legendary rivalry from the 1990s. When they finally met inside the ring, Eubank used his natural size and power to edge out a close but deserved points victory over Benn, who had moved up from his usual welterweight division.
Come on.
While the spotlight remains on their rematch, Pacquiao's interest in Benn has created a massive buzz. According to reports from DAZN's Inside the Ring, the Hall of Fame legend's advisor, Sean Gibbons, confirmed that Pacquiao's camp is currently exploring fights with 3 possible opponents: Rolly Romero, Gervonta Davis, and Conor Benn. Pacquiao, who recently came out of retirement and fought to draw with Mario Barrios in July, is expected to face Romero in early 2026, but the mention of Benn's name shows that the British fighter has caught the attention of boxing royalty. The idea of Benn fighting Pacquiao may sound wild to some, but it makes perfect sense given how Benn's name has skyrocketed since his rivalry with Eubank reignited. For Benn, a win over Eubank in November could open the door to a world title or a mega money fight with a global icon like Pacquiao. For Manny, it's the kind of crossover bout that could deliver entertainment, drama, and commercial success. All things he has mastered throughout his historic career.
Who else he might fight. Again, the Rolly deal is not done yet. And I spoke to his advisor, Sean Gibbons, who runs Manny Pacquiao's promotional company. He said the 3 names they're looking at are Rolly Romero, Gervonta Davis, and Conor Benn. So Conor Benn obviously is going to be fighting Chris Eubank Jr. in a rematch November 15th. On this show last week, Ben told us he's coming back to 47 no matter what.
Yep.
And we have Gervonta Davis, who of course has the exhibition with Jake Paul, also in November. And those are the fights for Manny right now. Whether it's the first fight or the second fight, those are the guys he's looking at.
What I will say though,
yet Pacquiao isn't the only world champion calling out Benn. Abbas Barrow, the WBA super welterweight title holder from Germany, has also made it clear he wants to face the British star Barrow, who currently holds a 17-1 record with victories over Sam Eggington and Younes Tellez. Has openly said that Benn is the kind of challenge he craves. The German champion sees a fight in the UK as a dream scenario, one that would bring together 2 explosive fighters in front of a passionate crowd. Barrow was recently elevated from interim to full champion after Terence Crawford vacated his belt to face Canelo Alvarez. And now, he's ready for big-name fights at 154 pounds.
Come
In fact, Benn has already made it clear that his ambitions go far beyond just beating Eubank. In a recent interview, he revealed that he's been eyeing several big names for the future. After the rematch, he hopes to face top-level American fighters, mentioning the likes of Mario Barrios, Devin Haney, Brian Norman, and even Shakur Stevenson as possible opponents down the line. Benn said he wants to test himself against the best from the US, acknowledging that these are the fighters currently dominating the scene. He also gave credit to Northern Ireland's Lewis Crocker, who recently captured the IBF title, but made it clear he wants to measure himself against the elite Americans who hold global recognition.
I feel like I've sidetracked a lot of my career for these 2 fights as it is. My calling is to get that WBC world title. It was something that I dreamed of, and very few fighters retire with the money and the title.
Eubank, on the other hand, seems equally ambitious. He has recently mentioned that he'd love to share the ring with Terence Crawford, the undisputed super middleweight king. After defeating Benn in April, Eubank's confidence is sky high, and he believes another win in the rematch could could set him up for another major fight. Still, many boxing figures believe Benn has closed the gap significantly and could turn the tables this time.
If Chris Eubank Jr. can win this rematch against Conor Benn and go 2-0 against Benn on a big stage, making a pile of money, all of a sudden Chris Eubank Jr. is a pretty marketable guy. Like, he'd have 2 wins over Benn, a lot of pay-per-view buys, a lot of attention. He won't have a world title, but Chris Eubank, even though he's fighting Conor Benn at 160, he believes he's a natural 168-pounder. So if Eubank beats Benn on November 15th, I could easily see Turki Al-Sheikh and Terence Crawford going, all right, we'll defend our titles against Chris Eubank. They may not be all 4 titles. I think one of these are going to be stripped away from him at some point. You can't hold on to them forever. But I think a Eubank-Crawford fight over in the UK is a big one.
Huge. And can you imagine Wembley Stadium?
Now, as both men gear up for round 2, the boxing community is split on who has the upper hand. Johnny Nelson gave a sharp critic of Eubank's last performance. He argued that while Eubank's physical strength remains a major factor, his actual boxing hasn't evolved much. Nelson questioned whether Eubank has made the necessary improvements since the first fight, suggesting that if he truly had the power to stop Benn, he would have done so already.
Chris will give himself every possible chance that's going, but in reality, you know, personally, I just think the last performance of Chris, I thought, you've got nothing left. There's no more improvement on what I'm seeing there. And I know there was a weight issue and all the build up to it. I thought there's no more improvement there.
Does that mean you think do you think Conor Benn will be better in the second fight?
Yes.
Does that mean that you think that by him being better and there's no more left from Chris Eubank, that Conor Benn's able to bridge the gap and get an outcome in his second fight?
Without a doubt.
You do?
He couldn't have done any more. If he could have knocked out Conor in that fight, he would have done.
Yeah.
He just couldn't get rid of him. And Conor stuck it. So regardless of him being surprised that Conor stuck it out a lot more, he couldn't get rid.
Carl Frog, another legend who knows both fighters well, offered a more balanced view. Having trained alongside Eubank and spoken with Benn, Frog noted that Eubank's natural size makes him the logical favorite. However, he praised Benn's bravery for jumping 2 weight classes and competing as fiercely as he did. Frog believes that with smarter timing and cleaner combinations, Benn can make this fight even closer.
We want to see the rematch because it was a good fight. Conor Benn might be able to turn it around and change it. He might be able to box a bit calmly behind the jab, take his time a little bit more, and then maybe pick his shots a bit better and not rush things and walk into things, because he did hurt Eubank in round 3 in the first fight. Can he capitalise on that by being a bit cuter behind the jab and trying looking for a smart shot rather than trying to look for a wild shot by just forcing the pace and pressure against Eubank Jr. doesn't work. I know from sparring him, you put him under the cosh and he fires back. He fights fire with fire. He always has done, and he was able to finish stronger, which was, plaudits to him. I was shocked by the fact that he could finish strong because he took this weight off and there was a rehydration clause. I believe he's doing the same weight, 160 pounds. That's what's agreed. And I also believe there's a rehydration clause as well, so he won't be able to go over, is it 9 or 10 pounds the next day, which is going to be difficult. But he signed the contract. He's getting paid well. It is what it is. We'll have to wait and see what happens November 15th. Like I said, not much to report. They've kind of been there, seen it, done it. We know who's won. I'd say Eubank Jr. is still the favourite going into this one, as he was in the first one, but he's a bit older, a bit more worn out from that first fight, and he's still got to make weight, still got to do the rehydration clause, so things could change. But yeah, me for one, I'm looking forward to see these two go at it again. I'm going to go there and sit and watch it live this time instead of watching it on TV, which is always good, get involved in the atmosphere.
Amir Khan, who has also analysed the rematch, believes it will be much tighter than their first encounter. He expects Benn to be more aggressive this time, taking more risks, but still sees Eubank as having the mental and physical edge. Khan pointed out that Eubank's experience and confidence, especially after already beating Benn, make him very difficult to overcome.
I think Conor will do a little bit more because he knows he had a little bit more left in the tank from the last fight, that he could have done more, but he was just holding back a little bit. So I think it'll be a closer fight than the first one, but I think Eubank will still take that fight. Maybe just take the win, because Eubank will have the confidence that he's beaten once before. He's bigger than him physically, and finally, I think experience. Yeah, I mean, and because he's the favourite going into fight, people are always going to be. I think one thing about Eubank is that I think he's won a lot of fans over lately. A lot of people give him a hard time. He's a nice guy, man. He's not a bad guy. And I think he's won a lot of the fans over, so yeah, respect to him there.
Peter Fury's take was more tactical. He sees it as an even contest, a true 50-50. Fury warned that Benn's emotional fighting style could get him into trouble if he lets Eubank bait him into wild exchanges. He suggested that Ben needs to stay calm, use intelligent pressure, and avoid turning the fight into a brawl.
No, I don't know. I think Ben can do more, and he's going to learn from it. The first one, so and Eubank looked drained at that weight. I'm surprised he's gone in again for the same weight, same rules, because you could see he looked like he was struggling to get to that weight, and it showed in there at times. So I think it's a 50-50. You know, Ben's in with a better chance this time than the first time.
Ben said he's going to box more in the second fight. Is that the game plan you would deploy, or?
Yeah, you've got to box. Look, it's called boxing for a reason. You know, you've got to box. When you're looking for big shots and take somebody's head off, somebody will pick you apart. You know, this is skill set in there. This level is you got to box your way in.
George Groves, who once beat Eubank himself, views the rematch as an emotional battle that could define both men's careers. He remembers how dramatic the first fight was, but believes Ben's progression since then could be the difference this time. He also mentioned Eubank's career options are limited, which adds pressure for him to deliver a dominant win.
One different caveat, if you like, to this is Bomac is back.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
That is interesting. Now, he gave credit to Jonathan Banks for last time, but Bomac is different. He is different.
Different gravy.
I mean, the best we ever seen Chris Eubank Jr., in my opinion, was the Liam Smith rematch.
Yeah.
Bomac training him. Did you hear what Bomac said? This would send shivers down my spine when he goes, "Oh yeah, I had a look at that fight. Oh, there's a lot I can work with." You're like, if you're Conor Benn, you're thinking, sitting there going, "Oh shit."
Yeah. I would love Chris to put the ego away and get to America and let Bomac train you over there.
Oh, that'd be the.
You want to be in that gym. You want to be surrounding those little killers and sparring those guys, right? You want to be sparring those smaller guys who are like as fast as Conor and nippy as Conor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they will. And he'd probably, listen...
He'll get lit up by some of them. He'll get lit up by some of them.
But believe me, it's going to pay you dividends.
Dave Ellen is backing Ben. He cited the younger fighter's momentum, growing confidence, and physical maturity as reasons why he believes Ben can win this time. He also questioned whether Eubank can comfortably make the middleweight limit again, suggesting that age and weight cuts might catch up to him.
If I had to put my neck on the line, which is what this video is about, at this stage, I'm going to go for a Conor Benn win. And my old man will definitely disagree. My old man will say Eubank is still going to be too big. It's still going to be too good. I just think a combination of Eubank having to make the weight again, because I think he struggles no matter what anyone says. He definitely struggles to make middleweight. The rehydration clause, maybe it's not big as an issue as people say it is. It still is an issue. And that coincided with he's not getting any younger, and that was a really hard fight, along with the fact that will probably do Conor Benn some good. Bit more experience, he's been there now, he knows he can bother Eubank, he knows he can hurt him. I want to go for a Conor Benn win.
Ronnie Davies, who has worked behind the scenes with Eubank, hinted that there were issues during the previous training camp but promised a much better version of Eubank in the rematch. He predicted a more dominant performance, possibly even a stoppage, though he acknowledged Ben's grit and determination as serious threats.
This time, what I know, there's a few issues last time, which I can't talk about, is he? But this time, Z, when we talk, sorry mate. This time they'll do it right, and you'll see a different Eubank, and I think he'll make an easier job. But then again, you don't know with Ben. He's very determined young kid, very fit, very powerful, and he's young. And he'll fight his heart out. So,
Liam Smith, who has shared the ring with Eubank, also leaned slightly toward Ben. He argued that Eubank may have already peaked in their first meeting, while Ben still has more room to grow. He believes that Ben's experience from the first fight gives him a clearer understanding of what he's up against and how to approach it this time around.
Big rematch, Ben and your old foe, Eubank Jr. How did you see that one playing out?
You know what, watching the first fight was a great fight, better fight than I expected.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, I think Eubank's one fight away from being done. I thought his balance was shot to bits. I've seen him sparring and knee pads on and stuff. But I just thought, wow, you're one fight away from being done. I think the rematch is a good fight, probably a better fight than I first predicted, if that makes sense. And I think Conor's got even more of a chance in the rematch.
Finally, Eddie Hearn, who was instrumental in making the first fight happen, promised another massive event for British boxing. He confirmed that the rematch at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium would be one of the biggest nights of the year, and Hearn praised both fighters for their professionalism and intensity, but warned that trying to recreate the same chaos as last time carries its risks. His focus is on ensuring that both men are properly prepared and healthy so the fans get another classic without compromising their long-term careers.
You know, there were times when, I don't know, not I think Eubank would retire, but the first fight was incredibly physically taxing on both men. You know, both men ended up eventually that night in hospital, and Eubank was there for several days. And there was definitely a feeling of, are they going to want to run it back? I mean, the money's obviously huge, but do you want to go to those places again? And, you know, I have to give, you know, despite our differences, I have to give Junior respect, because he went to some deep places that night. Both of them did. And they're choosing to run it back and go to the same places where they will definitely be going in this fight. So, you know, the first fight date, which was September 20th, didn't get off the ground because, you know, Eubank physically said he wasn't ready for that fight. So we're here now, November 15th, back at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and back for another thriller.
With so many storylines unfolding, Pacquiao's potential call-out, Baru's title offer, Benn's hit list, and a rematch that could reshape both fighters' legacies, Conor Benn's career is entering a defining moment. Whether he becomes the man to conquer Eubank, earn a world title, or share the ring with a legend like Manny Pacquiao, one thing is certain: the next year could be the most dramatic of his life.